I grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone's business, and my family always made it clear that money mattered more than love. From a young age, I was treated as if I was a burden, constantly reminded that I wasn't like my cousins or neighbors, that I didn't belong. My parents, especially my father, would compare me to others and lecture me about ambition, money, and the shame of failure, but never about love or kindness. I remember trying to do my best in school, but even good grades were met with a shrug or a cold, "That's nice, but you'll never amount to much if you don't have money." It wasn't just the words, it was the subtle glances, the lack of eye contact, the sighs whenever I spoke about dreams that had nothing to do with money. As a teenager, I watched my older siblings get all the support and encouragement. They got new clothes, trips, allowances, and praise for every small achievement. Meanwhile, I was left to figure out life on my own. When I asked for help, I was told, "We don't have money for you. Stop dreaming." I learned early that expressing desire or hope was met with dismissal. The small victories of my classmates and cousins became mirrors reflecting everything I lacked, and I internalized the idea that poverty was a moral failing rather than a circumstance. By the time I turned 18, I knew I had to leave. I moved to the city with only a small bag of clothes and a few dollars in my pocket. The first months were brutal. I slept in a cheap hostel, worked 2 jobs at once, and sometimes went hungry. I missed home in a way that was complicated. I missed the familiarity, but I didn't miss the judgment. Every rejection I had faced became fuel. I remember the look on my father's face when he said, "You'll never succeed." That became my fire. I learned to budget, network, and invest wisely. I read every book I could find on business, finance, and self-improvement. I failed a lot. I lost money, made bad decisions, and questioned if leaving home was the right choice. The city was a cruel teacher, but it was honest. Slowly, I found mentors, joined communities, and discovered that opportunities existed if I was willing to look beyond my immediate surroundings. By my 5th year, I had enough savings to move into a comfortable apartment, buy a reliable car, and invest in multiple income streams. I was finally living the life I had imagined, free from their judgment. I traveled, met inspiring people, and built a network that supported my growth. And yet, there was a quiet thought in the back of my mind. What about them? I realized that part of me still yearned for recognition, but I knew I would not compromise my peace to receive it. Then one day, I got a message from my sister. It was short. "Mom and Dad want to see you. Can you come home?" I almost laughed. After years of being disowned, of hearing that I was a failure, they suddenly wanted me back. I ignored it first, telling myself it was not my responsibility. But curiosity and a tiny part of longing made me respond cautiously. The walk to my childhood home felt surreal. Every step echoed with memories of exclusion and unspoken accusations. When I arrived, the atmosphere was tense. My mother smiled, my father's expression was unreadable, and my siblings hovered awkwardly. They asked about my life, my job, my business, my travels. I answered politely but firmly, making it clear that I had built everything myself. Their eyes widened in disbelief. I could see the realization dawn. The poor child they had dismissed had become successful without them. I felt a deep, quiet satisfaction, not the triumphant shouting kind, but a calm recognition of my own power. They started apologizing, making excuses for how they treated me. "We didn't know you could do it," my father said. "We were just worried," my mother added. My siblings nodded, some of them clearly embarrassed. I listened, my heart steady. I wanted to feel vindicated, to tell them how wrong they had been, but I realized I didn't need their approval anymore. I had done it all without them, and that was my victory.
Over the next few months, they tried subtly to involve me in family events, offering help, gifts, or even investment opportunities. I politely declined, setting boundaries. I wasn't bitter, but I had learned the hard way that love cannot be forced and respect must be earned. I focused on my life, my growth, and my happiness, knowing that their desire to reconnect came too late. I celebrated milestones quietly, surrounded by friends, mentors, and colleagues who had supported me without expectation. Sometimes I reflect on the past, on the pain of being rejected for being poor. But then I remind myself that rejection was what forged my determination, resilience, and independence. I am grateful for the struggle because it shaped the person I became. Now, when I walk through my city, succeed in my business, or help someone in need, I feel a sense of peace that they will never take away. My story is not about revenge. It's about proving to yourself that your worth is not determined by others' opinions, and that success comes to those who persevere, even when the world doubts them. They disowned me for being poor, but in the end, I found wealth, independence, and inner peace. And now when they reach out, I smile and remember that I am not the child they underestimated. I am the person I always dreamed of becoming. This journey taught me that rejection is temporary, but self-belief is permanent. Each struggle, each sleepless night, each small failure was a building block toward a life they could not dictate. And in that knowledge, I found freedom. Freedom to live, to grow, and to be unapologetically myself.